Well, baby, I'm on it with a bottle of wine and an old dirt road, and ready to go if you want to. Hey, Live Music Nation Podcast, Festival Edition. I'm your host, Jake Gill. Today we're with Zeb Smathers. He is with the Labor Day Festival. Zeb, thanks for joining us.
Hey, pleasure to be here.
Zeb, give us a little background on you. Where'd you grow up? Talk a little bit about your family and your career.
I'm born and raised in Canton, North Carolina. My 3-year-old son, Stone, he's the 9th generation Smathers. I was lucky to find a girl I wasn't related to marry. But you know, the only older than that line is the Labor Day Festival. I have the honor of being the mayor of Canton, North Carolina. It's in the mountains of North Carolina, about 20 minutes west of Asheville. We have the longest, at least in North Carolina, if not the South, maybe even the country, continuous celebrated Labor Day. And I think we're up to 115, 117 years now. We've been celebrating Labor Day. This is a town that prides ourselves on work. But this year's a little bit different. So the people listening may or may not know, we were home to a paper mill that's been open over 115 years. In March, it announced closure. We lost 1,100 jobs.
Wow.
Hundreds of millions of dollars in economic, not just on our town, but across the South in the forestry industry. So this will be the first Labor Day that the mill is now shut down. It sits just about 100 yards from where I sit down. There's no more smoke, no more workers. But we have the belief that we can be a mill town without a mill. And because we realized in closing, being a mill town's not about the machines or the building. It's about the people. It's about the relationships, about that blue collar grit. And so we're going to keep celebrating that. Whatever our future is, we're going to keep being Canton. We're going to keep being a mill town. We like being something different. And so we're going to celebrate, as we always have, work and labor. We think that's still important going forward.
How big of a town is Canton?
Canton city limits is about 5,000 people.
Okay.
Half the county considers themselves Canton, but I remind them they don't pay taxes, so that they don't get to claim that. So
yes.
They also don't get to vote. They also don't get to vote for or against me. So they in name only, but about 5,000 people in the Canton city limits.
Well, let's talk about this new direction. I'm sure as a leader in the community, you have to put the positive spin on this. What are some directions that your town is going to look at? I mean, as it makes sense as we become more digital and more electronic, the need for paper products is decreasing. I'm sure that you are. What avenues are you looking to bring in? Maybe additional sources of employment for whether it be a battery company or a microtech company, something like that?
Well, I think there's really 2 guiding principles that we've established. One is that we believe that for America to work, you got to make things. I don't care if it's pottery, paper, whatever it may be. There's something to be said about getting your hands dirty and producing something.
Yeah.
And so I think economically, whether it be large manufacturing, high tech, locally made products, food, beer, whatever it may be, we want to attract people that are making something, not just taking. I mean, yes, tourism is important. Yes, service is important. But we're a town that's here because someone said, hey, let's make something. And I think some regards we've gotten, past that in this country. And there's something just really, really American about a good hard day's work making something. And
yes,
we have such a history in crafts and woodworking and food in this part of the country in North Carolina. So we're going to stick to that. Number 2 is, I think as much as we want to build a future, we're too quick sometimes in this country to say what's next and forget about the people, the institutions, the teachers, the coaches, the churches that made us who we are. So I think as we go forward, we're going to be very purposeful in linking it to our past, what got us here. I mean, that's our natural resources. We have one of the few places in the country, all of our water comes within our own county. So the river brought the first settlers. My family was one of those families. It brought the paper mill, and it's going to bring our future. I mean, we are surrounded by national parks and parkways and rivers. So I see outdoor recreation being a major part of our future. Don't forget the things that got you here.
Yeah.
And again, and so the answer is right in front of us. But again, I think, at the end, we want to build, we've coined the hometown of tomorrow. How can we do a place that your children and grandchildren can have the opportunity, if they choose, after this community produces them, to come back and have a job and have a place to play ball and go to church, but also the tomorrow side, which embraces, new ideas, innovation, technology, but you don't forget who you are, and do it in a way that's tied to your past. So that's a long political way around it, but
Yeah.
we're going to
No,
try to do both.
absolutely. How long have you been mayor?
I've been mayor since 2017. I was on our city council in 2013, but mayor since 2017.
Did you see this change coming?
I did a little bit. When I started off, I went to Duke undergrad law school at Carolina. And so from 2001 to 2008, I was in the Triangle area, Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill. And I watched as these counties started getting bigger and bigger and started pushing it off to the counties next to them. We're 20 minutes from Asheville.
Uh-huh.
And and there's pros and cons with that. And so in 2008, you started seeing Asheville really becoming a place for music and beer and just restaurants. And I had a feeling what was going to happen. Now, people called me crazy then, but I stand by it. But it's how do you bring in new people, new ideas, but you don't lose who you are.
Sure. Sure.
If you're going to be damned for who you truly are. I can't stand fake people. There's something to be said, and what you see here in Canton and in a lot of places in North Carolina, what you see is what you get. But I did not see the mill closing. I knew it was. We'd always, talked about it, and it was a worry. We knew it was a possibility, not a probability. But also, just in 2021, we were flooded.
Yeah.
We lost our town hall, our fire department, our police department, our business district. Up the river, again, a place that considers himself Canton, but not in the city limits. We lost 6 lives. And so we're still rebuilding. My town hall is in a trailer currently. So on top of, we've gone through a pandemic, floods, a mill closure. Heck, a few weeks ago, we've been having earthquakes. I'm starting to think Job didn't have it too bad in the Bible. We've experienced everything but locusts at this point. If I see a grasshopper, I'm squashing it just because I'm afraid it's locusts at this point.
Absolutely. Well, I tell you what, you've got the right attitude, and Genesis tells us that it all came from the ground. So I'm sure that is where the answer lies for y'all.
Amen.
As you go through there. All right, let's jump in. I appreciate, let me sidetrack about that, because y'all are facing some situations that other areas are going to face in the future, and how you handle it, they're going to model after you. So I really appreciate you taking your time to explain that. We jump into the festival. For the people that have never been there outside of your community, when they get out of their car, 3 questions they're going to have for us. What are they going to see? What are they going to smell, meaning food? And what are they going to hear, meaning entertainment, activities, amusements, music, etc.?
Okay. The moment you get here, somebody is going to greet you with at least a big Canton smile, maybe even a hug. We love showing off our town. When you're here, you're part of the family. And I think people need that, especially still coming out of the pandemic. There is such an importance, especially with children, put smiles on faces. So first off, whether you're a business or a visitor, we want you here. And when you come see us, we want to say thank you, and you're appreciated. So I think you'll see that first. Again, this is the first year without the mill. If you asked this question last year, you would have heard that factory buzzing. You'd have seen the smokestacks. This year, you're going to see it there, but no smoke, no buzzing, but it won't be lost. It sits in our downtown. So I think what people will see is that mill, and it will remind them what we are. And as we try to find our way, that's still important to us. But then you're going to hear an assortment of music. You're going to see some traditional Southern clogging. You're going to see some rock. Sammy Kershaw is one of the lead performers this year, but also you're going to hear from Balsam Range. Balsam Range is a Grammy Award-winning bluegrass band. Mm-hmm. They're from Canton. They also coined the song Paper Town, and that really, gave us the energy to really believe who we were and start being a paper town. And they're the patron saints of Canton, and so they're performing. And so you're going to hear absolutely Grammy Award-winning bluegrass, some rock, some tradition. But again, for several days, you're going to be part of something. No matter what you're going through, where you're from, what you've been through, you get to sit back, relax, and smile and catch your breath. And I think that's so important right now. That we need sometimes we need to take a breather. This community's been through so much. This whole country's been through so much. And I know a lot of times entertainment sort of gets knocked around. Entertainment, music, performances play such a major role in our American psyche. And it reminds you of where you've been. It inspires you. So again, it's going to be smiles. There's going to be everything from fried fish to blooming onions to crafts. Just a good, and then our parade. We do love a parade here in Canton. Us elected officials will lead it off. I disagree with that. I think even as being mayor, us politicians should be behind the horses until we earn to be up front. But no, it's a good celebration of Labor Day. Yeah. It's just exactly what you picture, and it's real. What you see is what you get.
That's perfect. Zeb, how do people find out more information on your Labor Day events if they want to come, they want to visit?
Absolutely. I mean, it's a simple Google search. We're all present on all social media, CantonNC.com. Just type in Canton Labor Day. Plenty of information, social media. And again, I mean, you can spend the day here, but Western North Carolina, you've got you can be in Cherokee, Asheville. Make it a whole. I mean, being in Western North Carolina is a special part of our country, and we're excited to have people here. But just a good old-fashioned Google search will get you everything you need.
Perfect. Zeb, thank you so much for being on and sharing with us today. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. Y'all take care.
You're welcome.
Well, baby, I'm on it with a bottle of wine and an old dirt road, and you're ready to go if you want to.